Hi, this is Nayalla. Thank you so much for joining me again today. So today what I would like to do is share with you a video about the roles that we play. We tend to slip into roles in our day-to-day life, roles that other people give us and roles that we also give ourselves. So these are just labels, they're just stories, and they can be disempowering and they can lead to disempowering beliefs about ourselves and about life in general. Our attitude, personality, life, health, relationships, and many other things can all be affected by the roles we play out, largely on a subconscious level. We will slip into roles on a day-to-day basis, and the majority of the time we will actually be unaware that we are doing that. We will be unaware of the impact that it is having on our day-to-day lives as well. The three main roles that are commonly played out are victim, saviour and aggressor. And we're not necessarily just going to be boxed into the one role there. We can actually flit into all three of those roles. It's like a triangle, and it just kind of goes round and round. All three roles are just as damaging and disempowering as each other, and it is far healthier for all concerned to not allow yourself to fall into the trap of allowing yourself to A, be labelled, or B, label yourself. Personally, the label thing has been part of a shedding and healing process that I've gone through as well. There was many labels put on me and many labels that I put on myself as well. So it's been very empowering myself to really, strip away those layers, strip away those labels and really get to the core of what I'm all about without those things weighing me down and weighing me down. And although certain roles may have to be played out, such as being a mother or a child, for instance, it doesn't mean the role has to be made or played out in the image of expectations of another. Very often there is expectations about certain roles, and if you see in society as well, how are you interacting or reacting when you see somebody in certain uniforms, for instance? You will very likely change. If you're aware of it, you'll realize that you're changing and do something about it. But very often again, it's on a subconscious level. So for instance, maybe a police officer, are you changing? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed you see a certain person in uniform and you will change? It's all to do with the label and the roles that we play and how we perceive things. So I am a shy person. I am an introvert, and I was very much labelled right from the very start as being the quiet one. Therefore, there was an unspoken obligation type of rule thing going on in my life that I had to be or play the role of the quiet one in all relationships, in all situations. Very much play out the role of being the quiet one. And if I dare speak more than the daily requirements for a quiet person, it would really upset the whole equilibrium of those around me, because I wasn't keeping in line with that role, with that story. And I did find certain circles of friends that I would be in, if I would speak more or do something that was slightly out there, then they would just like look at me as if to say, is she all right? Is there something wrong with her? Yet by rewriting my story around this, I am and will always be quiet and shy, but that doesn't stop, block or hinder or involve rules or obligations. It's just how I naturally am. It's just part of who I am. Yet being free and fluid in expression, I may speak more on some days and feel more able to express myself in a more outward way. And there's no guilt around that. There's no guilt about it, because that's just how my consciousness wants to express itself on that particular day. I just will be, having more to share on that particular day. It's not it's not that I've all of a sudden changed into a different person. It's just that on certain days I will want to be more inwardly and be processing things inwardly. And then once I've gone through that processing, then it has become part of my life now to share that processing with others. So obviously I'm going to be speaking about it. So it's not that all of a sudden I've become an extrovert. It's just that it's part of who I am to share, it's part of who I am to give. So I will be very fluid in that way. I will allow my consciousness to express itself how it chooses to express itself. So I won't be defined by one particular label. I will allow myself just to flow in what feels right for me in any particular time. So there was a sort of catch-22 thing going on when I was stuck in those labels and roles. One in particular being, I could not let others know what I had to offer, because I was stopping myself from communicating in that way by being quiet and shy in that particular role, under that particular label, under that particular those particular rules. I was not allowed to come out and outwardly say what I had to offer, so therefore it was keeping me stuck. So when we have identified the roles we have been playing, the next step is to not play anymore, basically, or get sucked into that role or roles by others. So here is where boundaries come in very, very handy, and also changing our attachment to past stories and memories of those roles and those patterns. So if we've identified that we're in a relationship where there is victim and saviour and aggressor aspects coming out, those roles are very much there in that relationship, then take yourself out of it. Especially, I found, I would put myself as the saviour, but obviously if you're the saviour, then there's got to be a victim, and that means somebody has to be the aggressor. But if you take yourself out of it, then it's going to be a much healthier relationship. And if the other person's, very much, they're sort of your sparring partner, they're basically just fighting with themselves. So they'll soon get tired of that, or, you'll go in separate directions, and that'll be the end of that relationship. But you have the power to take off those labels and to not play anymore. And that is liberating and freeing and empowering within itself. So there was a huge part of my life where I believed I was a bad person, and I would subconsciously put myself in situations that caused me hurt and harm, as I did believe that I deserved to be punished. It was also the mind seeking out anything to confirm or reaffirm the story, that label, that role of being the bad person. Because I had in my head that I must be a bad person, because I had so many bad things happen to me, and bad things only happen to bad people. So that must be why these things are happening to me, right? That's what I kept telling myself. So that's what I kept seeing playing out in my life. So when you have been emotionally, psychologically, physically, and or sexually abused, you take on thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, ones that lead to you telling yourself stories that are not only damaging, but they're not true. And I've done a video about stories, so you might want to look at that afterwards as well. So your brain, part of how the mind works, it is one of the most, if not the most, sophisticated search engine available to us. You put in a belief and it will team up with the universe and co-create all it can to confirm or to reaffirm that belief. So it will go into your memories and pull out all it can to back up that belief. And that's why it's important to be very conscious, very aware about what you are telling yourself and what your belief systems really are. You know, what are you pulling in? Because what I teach to my clients, and very much a part of what I share, is that you're the magnet. You know, you are so powerful and you are drawing in things towards you. So once you are more aware of what's going on in the mind and what stories you are telling yourself, you can then pull in and draw in some really amazing experiences. But if you're telling yourself some really disempowering things, then obviously that all you're going to see is these things that are just keeping you small, keeping you stuck, and basically keeping you in a place that is very, very unhealthy. So what we can actually do is go back and see our life in a more empowered way. And by becoming the hero rather than the victim in our life, we can really see ourselves in a brand new way, in a way that is going to put us up there as the star, as the leading role, rather than an extra in our own life, so to speak. So each time we go into one memory, we will get something different from it each time, because we are in a different energy, living our life by a changed or slightly altered narrative. So the more empowered we become, the healthier that mind, we can go back into a memory and really see it with a fresh pair of eyes. And this is something that I did and was very much part of my healing journey as well. And I have done a video on that, which I'll put links to the end to the videos that I think will sort of link in with this one as well. So memories, same memories, and those same memories will slightly change in a way, but it's just how we're looking at it. It's just how we're seeing it. It's our perception. Our perception is changing. The actual event won't have changed. It will be the same event, but it's how we are looking at it. And you very likely would have heard about certain events where there's lots of people all witnessing one particular event, and they'll all come away with different stories about it. Basically, they'll all say that something slightly different would have happened, because their focus will be on slightly different things. So it'll be one event, but so many different stories about that one event. And we very much do the same with our memories as well. You know, we'll go back and we'll either pull something new out of it or see it in a fresh way. I found this really, really interesting because neuroscience has proven that the brain actually takes snapshots of the present moment at various times in a day. So this is the process of actually making up our memories. So we will go back in dream time, and then on a sort of autopilot, the brain will pick out ones to continue various themes, roles to go into the next day. So the most dominant thoughts, the most dominant beliefs, and the most dominant patterns in that day, the brain will seek them out and process that in dream time and really make up the themes for the next day. So the most dominant thoughts, feelings, patterns will very much determine the way the brain organizes memories for each day. So do you ever feel like you're stuck on repeat or on Groundhog Day? that is very much why. It's because the brain is pulling out the most dominant patterns. So it's important to interrupt that, interrupt that process, and the way the brain is really seeing things. And the best ways to do that is to feed your brain new information, and affirmations are a great way to do that. Meditation is a great way to do that, and also EFT tapping. If you do that before you go to bed, if you feed the brain a new story, then you're really setting yourself up for the next day. So if something has been playing out for a while in your life, then it's important to really break that cycle, break that pattern, so then you start really training your brain to seek out and pull out new things in your life. So I hope that has helped you in some way. If you do want more information, then please get in touch with me and I will do my very best to help you in any way I possibly can. I'm going to leave links to the videos Rewrite Your Story, Don't Get Stuck in the Past, Turn the Mess into Magic, and also Boundaries, because I feel like those videos will very much connect with this one. So I'm going to leave that with you today. I am sending you so much love, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Goodbye for now.